Hello friends, this is Worm, poorly aged like yesterday's videos. And today I wanted to talk about not specifically the TWID, but some of the things that were in the TWID because we talked about both of them yesterday, and Bungie addressed both of the things we talked about in yesterday's two videos in the TWID slash TWAB. I will still call it a TWAB. So I figured we'd kind of go over it because obviously the changes that are coming, they are good, they are for the better. And I just kind of wanted to, I guess, offer thoughts on them. The first thing that we talked about yesterday was you really should stop complaining about the oversoul drop rate. It's a long story short, it's a raid exotic. It's supposed to be difficult to obtain, and it's better than RNG because you now have a guaranteed drop. Like you're guaranteed to get it, right? You are guaranteed to get it, and you can have almost like a bar that you can watch fill up over time, and then eventually you get it, right? That was the first thing that we talked about. Or I guess technically the second thing we talked about. We're going to talk about it first today. But Bungie went out and they said, hey, we've heard your feedback on the drop rates, so we are changing it. Now, basically the way it worked in the, I guess, this week and previous weeks is you're guaranteed to get one Essence of Oversoul per account per week. Like that's a guarantee, right? Now you have a chance, a small chance at getting Essence of Oversouls from other encounters randomly. And it is farmable. Well, Bungie is coming out and they are saying that they're basically increasing the guaranteed drop rate from 1 to now 2, right? And that's right here. Your first full clear of Crota's Inn each week will now provide 2 guaranteed Essences of Oversoul. The guaranteed weekly drop from defeating Crota and an additional drop for beating each encounter in order from start to finish. That's, I mean, obviously that will take the maximum amount of time. Like let's say you start next week, right? You start raiding next week and you just do one a week. It's going to take you 10 weeks to get Necrochasm. That is at the bare minimum, and that's at the absolute worst luck possible. So Bungie basically cuts the amount of time required to get the essences needed for Necrochasm in half, right? Like the minimum number of essences needed in half, which I think is I mean, really, it's a good change. Now, of course, if you are anything like my wife and I, when she was looking for Vex Mythoclast, you can still go in and kill Crota for your guaranteed 1 drop per week. But if you do the entire raid from start to finish, you will get another one. So I think that's fantastic. So again, 1 raid a week will get you Necrochasm in 10 weeks now, right? That's fantastic. However, they made it even better. They also go on to say, then every time you do a full clear, you will still earn that additional guaranteed essence, right? This is another big deal because, you know, if you complete it on all 3 characters, or if you, well, let's just say if you're anything like me, I'm going to do it on all 3 characters, right? That's kind of the maximum amount of raiding I do. I do 1 per week per character and call it. This means that I am going to be getting 1 Essence of Oversoul for just the guaranteed completion for the guaranteed Crota kill, right? I'm gonna be getting 1 for clearing the first raid on let's say Titan. Then I'm gonna get a 3rd one for my Hunter clear and a 4th one for my Warlock clear, meaning that if you invest a little bit more time and you do the raid on all 3 characters, you're going to now cut that 10-week time frame down into 5 weeks. And again, that's at minimum. Like that's at minimum. That's through the guaranteed drops only. However, Bungie goes on, right? We are also increasing the drop rate of random Essence of Oversoul for repeated clears on each counter, so you can earn even more per try. Now, this is the main thing people complained about, was like the drop chance for getting a Essence of Oversoul was really, really low. Right, and I would assume it's about 3% because that's what all raid exotic drop rates are. If I'm not mistaken, is like 3%. I could be wrong in that, but I'm gonna assume it's 3%. I wouldn't be surprised if Bungie just doubled it and took it up to like 6%. But I think that the max they would go is maybe a 10% chance to get one. Right, so if you farm it 10 times, of those 10 times, I don't know, farming the Abyss encounter, you're guaranteed to get 1 essence drop. Again, all these are really, really good. It's going to help everybody, including myself, get Necrochasm faster, as well as get the Catalyst faster. But there is a lovely cherry that Bungie just threw on top, right? Because I know that there's a lot of people in the community, and apparently Bungie knows this too, that Fortune smiles on greatly, right? So they have added a small chance. Again, I would assume 3% per character per week to get all the Essence of Oversoul needed from Crota. Just from killing Crota, like, you get all 35 to complete the Necrochasm quest and complete the Catalyst, and you're done. So basically, if you get insanely lucky, you get 35. You will have all that you need to get the weapon itself. Then all you need to finish the Catalyst. Of course, once you obtain the Catalyst, because Essence of Oversoul are retroactive. Now, there were, I guess, a couple of things that I would like to know, right? The first one being, can you stack your guaranteed drops with the random chance drops, right? So let's say, let's say I get really lucky on my Titan one week, and I go in, I do the raid on my Titan. Is it possible for me to get one from the Abyss, one from the random chance in the Abyss, one from a random chance at the bridge, one from a random chance at Aight, and one from a random chance at Crota, on top of the 2 that I am guaranteed, which would bring the total, there we go, up to 6, right? Like, is that a possibility, or like, are they kind of capped? When you clear Crota, you get your guaranteed one, and that's all you get, right? Like, I would like some clarification on that. Oops. But that's something we'll have to, I guess, do testing on, just to see where it winds up. But yeah, I think that this is a fantastic change. I mean, really, people are going to be getting them probably very, very quickly. And your farms are going to be hopefully much better, especially, like, if you're sitting at Aight, which I think is the fastest encounter, and you're one phasing her, I want to say it's probably like 7 minutes from the start of one till you can actually start the next one, right? 7 minutes. If you spend a little bit more than an hour in there, like, how many essences are you going to be able to obtain? What's the new drop rate? And Bungie, they're always ambiguous about drop rates, right? For things like exotics from the raid. I don't think they've ever told us what that number is. I think that all the 3% I had a second ago was done through player testing. So that would be cool. But again, I think this is a great change. I know yesterday's video kind of sounds like I contradicted, but it is possible to believe multiple things at once, right? So this is a fantastic change. And I definitely, hopefully will get really lucky next week and get Necrochasm on my first clear, because that's how my raid exotics typically go, right? But the next thing that I want to talk about here is this bad boy right here. Well, actually both of these, I guess, and we'll kind of cover all this. But yesterday we talked about Antaeus wards not being, or I'm sorry, 2 days ago we talked about Antaeus wards not needing a nerf, and more so it's the subclasses that need a nerf, right? It's more Arc Titan that needs a nerf. Bungie, however, disagreed. Bungie said that's the slide that you get is incredibly powerful. And so they're doing kind of exactly what I was hoping they wouldn't necessarily do, which is just nerfing yet another exotic that I don't really think need to be nerfed. And again, the reason I don't think it needed to be nerfed is because if you look back 8 months ago, it hasn't changed in 8 months, in 9 months, 10 months, a year. It hasn't changed in a long, long time. I don't think it's changed since mid 2020. If you go back a year ago, Antaeus ward's usage was very, very low, and it hasn't changed. It's only changed because everything else has been nerfed. And so Bungie, it's creating the power vacuum. They're going to nerf Antaeus wards. Then what's going to move up in the slot next for Titan, But basically what they did is when you slide, it will now consume your class ability energy. Well, hold on. It says here, reflecting damage will deplete your class ability energy. So I am wondering here, if the way that these boots will work going forward is when you have no class ability energy, will you still be able to slide? Will you still be able to, or I mean, obviously you'll still be able to slide. Will you still be able to deploy that shield on slide and just not reflect, right? Because like the way it's worded here, I'll read it for you verbatim. These will now require full class ability energy to reflect incoming damage. Reflecting damage will deplete your class ability energy. The goal is to reduce the uptime of this exotic's effect and also make it more difficult to stack with Juggernaut's shield. First of all, the last little part here, Juggernaut shield, that definitely did need to happen. But What it sounds like here is if you are sliding around, right? So you have that reflective vents on demand. If you're sliding around, you'll have the shield up as much as you're sliding, but it won't actually go away until you reflect damage, or basically you take any damage at all. Or actually, no, correction, not take any damage at all when you actually reflect damage. So with Antaeus Wards, with this change going forward, will Titans be able to slide through other Titan barricades? Will Titans be able to slide through, damage over time grenades like, Vortex? Will they be able to slide through Nova Bombs? Because you're technically not able to reflect a Vortex grenade that's already doing its thing, right? You're technically not able to reflect a Titan barricade. So will it disappear after that? From the way it sounds right here, it won't, right? So Titans out there that love this exotic, you can still slide through Titan barricades. You can still slide through area of effect grenades and stuff like that. Like, it doesn't sound like that's going to change. I guess, I don't really know how I feel about that all that much, but and of course, when you do reflect, which is basically going to be 98%, or actually it's going to be 100% of your gunfights, it's going to go away. The issue that I kind of have with this, and the issue that I've seen some people talking about already on, Reddit and stuff, is you are still going to be winning your 1v1s when you have the class ability energy, right? And if you're on Arc Titan and you've got Thruster and you've got, I can't remember the spark, but the spark that gives you faster class ability charge time, blah, blah, blah. How long is it really going to take for you to get that shield back, right? Especially on bigger maps, take something like Disjunction, right? It takes 20 seconds to even get to combat in Disjunction. So let's say you slide in, you get a shotgun kill, you're playing around. Yeah, you don't have that shield up for what is it, 14 seconds at most. That's if you're not sprinting, and you have max resilience, of course, too. But it can be reduced further. Like, I think the problem is still going to exist with the fact that Titans get a free 1v1 dub every single time, right? Because that's as who was it? One of y'all, I want to say it was Aiden, in the comments yesterday, pointed out something really, really, really good. So shout out to Aiden. He said that the issue with Antaeus Wards is not so much that you have this shield, it's not the shield itself. It's the fact that literally it is a guaranteed gunfight win, right? You're guaranteed to win the gunfights. I haven't even had this up. Oops. I meant to pull this up so y'all can read with me, but oh well. His point was that, when you have reflective vents active, you slide in, you can start shooting, blah, blah, blah. You are guaranteed to win that gunfight as long as your accuracy is on point, which, let's be honest, the majority of us, it's not hard to be accurate with our weapons. Don't get me wrong. It's great that you can't pair it with Juggernaut shield, blah, blah, blah. But the fact that you still can block damage, even if it depletes your class ability, you don't need multiple slides to get a kill. When most, I want to say the average TTK in Destiny 2 is 0.8 to 0.85 seconds, right? It's you need that split amount of time. So, Arc Titans with Antaeus Wards, I don't know. I think this could potentially still be problematic in that regard, that, you're invincible. You start every single gunfight with a leg up over the competition. So I don't know. We'll have to just see kind of how this plays out. I don't know if it's really going to shift the needle a whole lot. It's going to reduce the instances of a Striker Titan rushing you down from 20 meters away, but is it going to solve the problem? The problem at its core, I don't really know. They're also reducing, they're nerfing Young Ahamkar's spine. They say we are reducing its impact on grenade uptime by making it grant energy only on final blows. So currently the way Young Ahamkar's spine works, I'll pull it up so you can read it here. The way that Young Ahamkar's spine works is anytime you deal damage with an ability, whether it's a throwing knife, a golden gun, trip mine, of course, you get 50% grenade energy back. They're nerfing it, so now you have to get a kill, not just damage an enemy. This is a big deal. I mean, we've seen a massive uptick in Young Ahamkar's spine usage over the past few months, so Yeah, that's pretty sweet. The rest of this stuff, they're making some changes to recoil on SMGs to make the trade-off for range a much harsher, like, thing to go, like, to build into as opposed to stability. Yeah, there's that. Sniper rifles also will be they're going to implement a sniper rifle body shot nerf in the Crucible. I don't really know what this is all about. For me personally, I haven't had issues with sniper rifle body shots in the Crucible. Like, I guess you could say that, like, sometimes you run into somebody who's using a sniper and they body shot you. I would assume this is probably due to the high ground on a sniper being able to one-shot body somebody. I don't know. We'll just kind of have to see. But they're also getting a PvE buff to offset that. Kickstart on fusion rifles will have decreased damage from what it currently is. Oh, here we go. Airborne effectiveness, and I know one of y'all said in the comments yesterday, or in a previous video, something about snipers and slug shotties having terrible airborne effectiveness. Bungie, wow, that sun is really freaking bright there. Oof, yikes. Bungie said that they're going to increase sniper and slug shotguns airborne effectiveness. That's great. Peregrine Greaves are also on the chopping block. These now only grant bonus shoulder charge damage after being in the air for a short time. So no longer can you just be sprinting, jump, shoulder charge. Like, you now have to be airborne for a little bit. However, they're giving a juicy buff. In PvEs, these will now provide significantly more bonus damage and refund your melee charge when used against champions, tormentors, and mini bosses. So yeah, that's good. And then we move on to Syntheseps. This is one we were originally going to talk about Syntheseps and Banner of War today, because that is a really, really hot Titan PvE build. But Syntheseps, they are removing the extra lunge range. Again, I think this is something to basically round out all the melee lunge range. In a game like Destiny, the melee lunge range is extended melee lunge range is what I should say. They're very finicky due to latency reasons, right? Like, I mean, people literally teleport to you to punch you. It's very difficult and frustrating to deal with. So they've removed this extra lunge range, which I think is, I mean, I guess fair enough. But also to compensate, this is what I'm excited for. They're adding improved weapon handling and reload speed when you're surrounded. And they're also walking back some of the nerfs to glaive melee damage as well. This is a big deal for our PvE build, which I have not done coverage on because I think basically every Titan out there knows about it, but it's Syntheseps paired with Banner of War to make you invincible even in Grandmasters. But yeah, that's the change. That's really all the changes I care about talking about. Mainly Essence of Oversoul. It's great. And then the Antaeus Ward's nerf is fine, I guess. I'm not gonna say it's the best thing that's ever happened, because I think they could have gone about it differently, but I will take it. Yeah, but of course I want to hear your thoughts. What are your thoughts on essences, increasing the drop rate of Essence of Oversouls? What are your thoughts on Antaeus Ward's nerf and the young Ahamkara's spine as well? Because that's something that, I mean, we've never talked about on the channel. Actually, I think we talked about it once, but this is something that has been problematic in Destiny 2, right? The young Ahamkara's spine is a problematic exotic, so it's finally getting reined in on a little bit. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Of course, if you like today's video, drop a like. It helps the channel out a lot. It helps us grow. We are currently on the path to 700 subs and eventually 1,000 and eventually 1,000,000 one day. We'll see though. But yeah, other than that, y'all have a great day. Watch the videos you see on the end screen because for whatever reason YouTube thinks you'll like them, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye for now, guys.